Is Honda going to be the next brand to leave India? Or is Nissan exiting the market? I guess Jeep has no future here, just like Fiat, etc., etc. Yes, I get asked these questions. It's staggering. Well, you know what? GM left, Ford left, Fiat left. Yes, they all got it wrong. So, how worried should you be about the brands that I just talked about, or even others like Renault or Citroen, or hey, even high end brands like Audi? Not too worried. And the good news, most of their cars are not bad as such. Though, yes, some of them have had their share of problems, no doubt. Like, Nissan being a one model wonder for the longest time, barely hanging on. Or Renault losing its Duster and Quid magic altogether. Or even Honda's paltry numbers from once being firmly in the top five. And you know what? We've lost confidence, not because they're bad, but because they're not loud. No celebrity brand ambassadors, no dancing around in reels, no best selling badges being dangled in front of us. Or let's face it, they're just too small or not relevant enough anymore. So, they're not flawless, but they are not dead. So today, I'm going to talk about the misunderstood or misfits, or should I say, the quiet kids, the left swipes of the Indian auto industry. Now, before you go, come on, Siddharth, why are we even talking about these brands? Should Indian buyers even consider these brands in 2025? Well, to that, I'm saying, is it a mistake not to consider them at all? Let's buckle up and dive in. Okay, let me quickly say I will be answering your questions at the end, so stick around. Now, let's not tiptoe around it. We've got trust issues, and it's fair. Indian car buyers still have exit trauma. We all remember what happened with Ford, Chevrolet, and Fiat. One day it was all like, oh, we are here for the long haul. Next day, poof, exit stage left, leaving buyers scrambling for parts, panicking about resale, and wondering if their next service is going to happen in another city. Well, okay, you know what? That might be like an extreme view, but you know what I mean. But of late, I find that when a brand, just isn't in the top 10 sales chart or just like lacks a flashy roadmap, many people go, are they leaving next? Straight away. Call it anxious attachment, if you will. But is that fear justified this time around? Because we're talking huge investments. Of course, I know GM and Ford had huge investments too. And you know what? Let me also say this. Huge disclaimer before I go brand by brand. I haven't been paid by any of these brands to make them look good or to defend their position, however sad it may be in our market. Okay? So cynics, please stay away. So before I jump into all of that, some trivia. General Motors partnered with which Indian car brand to begin its India operations in 1994? And what was the first car model launched by GM in India? Well, here's a hint. Some of you who may not remember, it wasn't an American brand. Post your answers in comments with the number 1. All right, let me begin with Honda. The powerful, respected Japanese brand, Honda-san. We've all loved, admired, and cherished for years. Now, it's just such a sad, unfortunate shadow of what it once was, no? Once it had almost 5% share of the market, and now it's struggling to even hit 1%. Once it had the benchmark cars, Accord, Civic, CR-V, City, Jazz, the first hybrids, even the Amaze. Now, as I have already said over the last few podcasts, sad to see that the City is barely managing respectable volume. Okay, the Elevate does okay. The Amaze is the only real star here. And come on, the maker of Accord V6 and Jazz is now down to just that? Shame. It's a real shame. And Honda only has itself to blame. Think about it. Go back a few years. The BRV should have come before the Mobilio. It would have beaten the Creta to the market at a time Honda as a brand reigned supreme and commanded tremendous premium, even price-wise. The BRV with its 3 rows and that Honda badge could have become a runaway hit. Instead, it came as the Cross Mobilio after the Mobilio had already disappointed the market. What a flop. And that's a time when the Creta was already ruling. What a missed opportunity. But does that mean that the IV tech driven cars are all bad? No, of course not. And hopefully Honda is going to add at least one more volume model, say like a more competent WRV to take on the Sonnets, Fronxes and 3XOs of the world. Francs. Okay, to truly occupy not just more market share, but mind share too. So, no, this is definitely not a get out while you can situation. But in India, jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai, right? And when you're not in the spotlight, not in the ads, not in the launches, not even in gossip, doubt starts to creep in. This is probably more valid for Stellantis than Honda. Let's be honest, all the marketing talk, exit trauma, and sales charts in the world cannot make you buy something if the product is no good. So let's begin with Citroen first. The C3 and the Aircross, French flair, clean sheet styling, and genuinely impressive ride quality. You can spot the design DNA from a mile away. But then, no automatic transmission at the start, what was that? Limited safety kit and a cabin that feels more 2015 than 2025. Even with the basalt, it's like they dressed up for a party but forgot the cologne or hairspray. And no, it's not because Citroen is too new to thrive. We've seen Kia enter, go all in, and turn straw to gold, right? It's comfortably in the top five, but that took serious investment, serious commitment, serious intent, and serious understanding of the product, the kind that works for Indian buyers. What was the first French car brand to go on sale in India? Post your answers in comments with the number 2. Okay, next then we stay with Stellantis and we talk about Jeep. When it launched the Compass, it was a full-blown look at us now moment. Aspirational, American, modern, 100% Jeep, and so fresh. It even won our car of the year when I was leading car and bike. But today, it's aged, pricey, not fuel efficient, and hasn't seen a meaningful India first update. Nothing that's kind of excited the market, unlike when it first launched. The Meridian didn't really help, and the only new additions are CBUs, that's the completely built units. So, limited appeal, huge price tag, cars like the Wrangler or the Grand Cherokee. Now, I remember when Jeep had plans to really conquer Indian roads with its SUVs, had a huge volume strategy. Now it just echoes of ambition. Where are the Avenger, the Renegade? Oh, the Renegade. Forget it. Now we will move on to Renault. Again, a brand that had a really great start, in fact, way better start. Joined hands with Mahindra, brought in the Logan, then bam, we got the Duster. Compact SUV before compact SUVs were a thing. Way before the Creta, way before all of those Honda plans. Total disruption. And for quite a while, it ruled the streets. It also won our car of the year, by the way back when. Then Renault pulled another surprise with the Kwid. Bold design, aggressive pricing, and a clear shot fired at the entry-level giants, Maruti, that was dominating the market, Alto. And of course, it made those cars camper. This was like no other car in the market. It looked great, it was big, it was roomy, it was well-priced, it was efficient, it was exciting, it was sexy. It also won our car of the year. Now, Renault did ride the sales wave for quite a while, and then poof, all just went away, literally like somebody waved a wand. Today, the Kwid, Triber, and Kiger still offer solid value. Maybe not the Kwid so much. They are spacious, sensible, easy buys. But let's be honest, they're just showing their age. Again, the first two more so. Interior quality, not happening. Drivetrains, well behind the curve. Though I have to say, the Kiger redeems itself quite a bit. And yeah, it's worth buying. It's good value. But the big question, where are the next generation models? Seriously, how long are we going to have to wait for the new Duster? I mean, I'm just literally getting grey hair over this one, just waiting. Yes, of course, I drove it exclusively. Sounded very nice when we said it because we thought that launch was imminent. That's not the point. That review, by the way, also has dust on it now. So, yeah, let's not forget. There's also that 3-row Bigster that's supposed to come. It's like watching the screen stuck on. I'm waiting. You're all waiting. The market is waiting. We'll get tired of waiting at some point, right? And finally, there's Renault's once happy alliance partner, Nissan. Never made a splash in India, really, right? Think about it. Never really went full throttle. Despite being a brand with so much legacy worldwide and so much respect in India, it was so much better known than Renault. People couldn't even say Renault, still can't. But Renault did better, Nissan didn't. We have been through the Tiana, the Micra, the Sunny, the Terrano, and yes, even the Godzilla, the GTR. And then there was like this little detour that happened, or a little service lane. Datsun. It was a strategy misfire. It wasn't also seen through properly to its final proper outcome. And that's just putting it mildly. Now it's been the Magnite show. And don't forget, the Magnite was always supposed to be the Go Cross. So it was designed as a Datsun. But again, I'm segueing too much now. To be fair, the Magnite is a strong act. It's great value, sharp looks, pretty relevant, punchy turbo CVT combo, just like the Kiger. The catch, it's literally the only car in Nissan India's lineup. A one product portfolio for years, that's not a strategy. It's possibly like a balancing act on a tightrope where somebody's setting fire to the rope at both ends. And for those who are ready to shout, wait, you forgot, the X-Trail's also here. All I've got for you is a slow, dramatic eye roll. X-Trail. Really? And it didn't help matters in April when Nissan sold off its 51% stake in the joint manufacturing plant in Chennai. That stake was, of course, bought out by Renault. So why wouldn't the regular Joe think that it's yet another brand ready to exit India? When you do something like that, right? Well, ever since then, Nissan has gone blue in the face, assuring us that it's not going anywhere. And yes, we are getting Nissan's version of the Duster and of the Bigster. And there's also the Triber-based 7-seater MPV. All of this over the next 12 to 24 months. Too little, too late. Yeah, perhaps. And all I can say is, I wish Nissan India a lot of luck. It's going to need it. Okay, third trivia question. What was the name of the platform that spawned the Kwid, the Datsun Redigo, the Nissan Magnite, the Renault Kiger, and the Renault Triber? Post your answers in the comments with the number 3. So now you have a good sense of why buyers view these brands with suspicion or lack of confidence. And why do they start to get cold feet? Well, think about it. Service network, spare parts, resale value, the unsexy stuff, but the stuff that matters when you actually own the car, right? Citroen still playing catch-up, especially outside the big cities. Its service packages are transparent, yes, but spare parts, let's just say you might need some patience and a plan B. Jeep, better urban coverage, but parts can get pricey, and post-warranty support, well, they're not winning anyone over. Citroen, 82 dealerships, Jeep, 76, Renault, 350, Nissan, 303, Honda, 324. Renault and Nissan are more widespread, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, which is a plus. But consistency is hit or miss. Some dealers feel pretty solid, others not so much. And resale value across the board, well, let's just say none of these badges are topping resale charts. The Magnite has held on pretty well though. Some don't even actually show up on that resale page, and in some cases, within the portfolio, they're not all on the same page too. Honda is way better off and better positioned, but as I said, the dealers, they desperately need at least one more solid product and another big hit again, like how the City used to be, unquestionable, solid seller. So the real question is, are you buying something to stick with it for the long haul, or are you already dreaming of your next upgrade? Unlike the market leaders, there's no clear pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, just more fog. The Stellantis duo have been pretty tight-lipped about what's next. Don't forget, Leap Motors will join that duo very soon as a part of Stellantis India, Chinese electric car brand. But anyway, that's for another day, that discussion. There might be an electric Jeep also that's in the works. But when? Your guess is as good as mine. And then there is the Renault-Nissan fallout. It's like an awkward post-divorce co-parenting situation. Technically together, but clearly living separate lives. So yes, Renault will contract manufacture for Nissan. They can also date other people, by the way. Remember Nissan, Honda, another whole saga. Anyway, both still plan big exports out of India though. And so that investment looks pretty sound. But it shouldn't be more exports than sales within India, isn't it? And what about beyond that? Anyway, now, as I said, I've driven that new Duster, and if you haven't still seen it, let me plug that review. Please do so. Please go and watch that review, because it is an interesting car. It seems worth waiting for, and I hope they get it right in terms of the mix on all the trims that will be offered here. The link for the full review is in the description below. Now, it looks promising, spacious, capable, well-rounded, exactly the kind of package that this segment needs. But it's still now pushed again to a few months away. Horribly, horribly delayed. And for no good reason. The market will move on. And its seven-seater sibling, that's going to take even longer. Now, Nissan's global CEO, Ivan Espinosa, has been telling any and every journo he can meet that India is a very important market and we are here to stay. As I told you, its plans include those 3 new car launches, the India-focused models, locally produced and for export too. But please, please Nissan, get it right. No more misfires. The X-Trail fiasco is just still too fresh in our minds. Okay, 4th trivia question. What is the other name of the Nissan Micra? It was also called something else in a few Asian countries. And no, I'm not talking about the hurriedly rebadged Renault Pulse in India. Nissan badge only. Post your answers in the comments with the number 4. Okay, speaking of comments, now it's your turn. Tell me if you've owned any of these brands that we've talked about or are planning to own one. And be honest, are you waiting for that new Duster or its Nissan counterpart? Lots of guesses as to what that car will be called. It probably won't be called Terrano, by the way. Drop all those thoughts in the comments. I am listening. And so, here is my final take. None of these are fly-by-night operators. They have huge legacy, lots of experience globally, and a lot at stake. They cannot and should not ignore the world's 3rd largest market. Ford, I'm talking to you still. Like, seriously, where are those plans of reviving the India business? Okay, I'm digressing again. Why can't they just be smarter about their plans? All of these guys, just quicker with their strategies, just more aggressive, or hey, like a little bit more intelligent too. I believe our market and our buyer is going to give them more chances, but they cannot keep taking us for granted. And unless they do something special, where they offer incredible value, significant segment benchmarks, sexy designs, awesome tech, and huge peace of mind, the going will remain tough. And the market share will remain in Kia's pocket. Okay, no. What I'm saying is that market share will remain meager for the foreseeable future. So, seriously, guys, not rocket science. Okay, now let me take some of your questions, as promised. Lots of nice questions, so thank you all for sending them in, and thanks for your patience as I'm giving you these answers. Krishnan says, I have been using a Hyundai Eon for the last 10 years. Most of the drives are long distance with very minimal city use. Sits idle most of the time as well. I've only done 35,000 kilometers on it. Seriously, wow. I want to upgrade to a comfortable, safe, long-term, reliable car, especially for butter-smooth highway drives with good sound insulation. Second-hand is preferred. Nice detailed question. Krishnan, you have not specified your budget, so I can only speculate here a little bit. My sincere suggestion to you is buy a new car. Look, you've had this car for 10 years. You also want to feel good about what you're buying. It's just always better to go with a new car. Having said that, you could get a great deal or a really nicely well-maintained used car as well. No taking away from that. But if your budget allows it, you should at least think about that new car. It can be a Swift, can be an Exter, though I would say preferably something like an XUV3 XO. It's safe, it's roomy, it's good for the highway use that you mentioned. There are options, the Fronx or the Baleno, since now recently we've seen the crash structure on that particular platform is looking pretty good. At least that's what Bharat NCAP tells us. So think about it, and you got both those budget options as well as something a little bit higher, which might make you feel good about, again, a long-term usage or ownership. Next, the Clavis or Alcazar, what is your recommendation? Ameya, this is a simple enough question with a very simple answer. If you want an SUV with a bigger car feel and more heft, the Alcazar. If you want a lighter, slightly smaller feel car, but with all the bells and whistles, that is not an SUV, the Carens Clavis. They are not comparable cars. I know a lot of people think they are. They're not. And it comes down to your usage and your overall needs. Do you want an SUV or do you want an MPV? Make your choice. Next question. Which model of the Comet range should one buy for a 100-kilometer round trip? Interesting question. And it's funny because we talked so much about the Comet in the last podcast. Well, Prabhan, I'll tell you what, it doesn't really matter which variant you get because the car's options change by trim and features. The 17.3 kilowatt-hour battery pack and the 230 kilometers claimed range remain the same across the model line. So choose the variant that fits your budget or works for you. It doesn't matter about the range because it's all the same. Sandeep is asking, is the Jimny worth considering? I'm looking for something reliable, not too tech-heavy. I'm not a fan of digital consoles and touchscreen controls either. I enjoy driving a lot. Highways and travel also involves rough farm roads and rain-battered ghats. With the recent price cuts and offers, it suddenly popped up on my radar, a truly capable 4x4 under 18 lakhs on road. Would love to know your take on the Jimny. All right, nice detailed question again, and I like that. You've really sort of told me what you're thinking. So, hey Sandeep, I loved your question, and it's rare to find a simple and pure love for the automobile that kind of dominates your mind space these days, right? Since we're also dazzled by all the tech and the glitz. Yes, the Jimny is perfect then. It is all about going as old world as you possibly can nowadays. So if you want four-wheel drive that's important to you, and you want something that's reasonably well built, it's the car to go for. I will say though that if you're spending a lot of that time outdoors and of course on the highway, you should also consider the Thar family before you make your decision, the Mahindra Thar family. But it is a yes from me on the Jimny. Naman wrote in asking, please suggest a car. I'm 35. The car will be primarily driven by me, sometimes by my wife. I don't have budget constraints. Wow, Naman, that's really rare. I have no issues in avoiding SUVs. Well, you are very rare these days in that case, Naman. I could go for a sedan as well. I live in Lucknow. I would not drive more than 500 kilometers a month with a trip to Delhi every quarter. Like relaxed driving, and I have two older parents as well. Lots of very relevant information there. So I'm going to sort of give you a very concise and a precise answer that I think will fit that need perfectly for you. I hope so. A sedan then maybe, as you said, the Virtus or the Slavia. With a slightly higher ride height, I think it might be perfect for all those different family needs. It's also got good pickup. It is fun to drive. It is safe. And it's well built. And it's decent on features. It's not something that's going to dazzle you again. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. And go with the Slavia or the Virtus depending on whether you like the lighter palette of the cabin or the darker one, or just which car's looks you like more. Saurabh is in the process of looking at buying a Basalt and says, please tell me, is my choice fine or would you like me to change? Well, Saurabh, if you like the body style and the comfort, that's what you're really going for on the Basalt, it's a surprisingly good choice. It's also very good value for money. If you want segment benchmark, or if you want that coupe body style, but you also want lots of that latest tech, then choose the Creta or the Curve, respectively. There's no getting away from that. Hi, sir, says a random guy on the internet. I'm looking for a car around 10 to 12 lakh on road, 60% highway use, 40% in the city, around 10,000 kilometers a year. The car needs to be punchy, good to drive. I am a new driver. The car should have decent rear seat space and boot space and also good high-speed stability. I was thinking of the Skoda Slavia 1-liter Classic. No preference on the body type. What do you recommend? Similar answer in a way linked to the earlier question, but your needs are a little bit different. So nothing random about that question, dude. In fact, I would say it's so refreshing to get someone considering a sedan and who's so clear about what they want. Good to drive? Yes, a sedan will always be that if you compare to most SUVs. The good thing about the Slavia, it's also really well built and it has a fairly punchy turbo. You can also get that automatic on it. And as I said, well built means in many ways very nice around the corners too. It'll give you pretty much everything that you've asked for. Don't forget, it also has surprisingly good ground clearance. It was our first car of the year here at Acko Drive, and there was a damn good reason that our jury picked it. So yes, I fully endorse your choice. So lots of questions and hopefully lots of meaningful answers, and I hope some of you may be looking for. If not, and if I didn't answer which car should I buy, please tell me what you're looking for. Please go ahead and drop a comment here, a question here, or of course you can reach me on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and look out for all this information coming your way. And please always tell me what you are looking for. Meanwhile, promise that you'll always wear your seatbelts, drive safe, and join me next time on Which Car Should I Buy?